Sim. We're here live at Brands Hatch. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Joshua Lee, and in the booth it is Marco Barbadera, and we're here for a massive race here around the World Classic Brands Hatch circuit here in Kent, UK. Josh, how are you feeling about today's race?
Feeling good. Another large grid of cars ready to go racing, and Brands Hatch is such a unique track, and it's known across the iRacing service, pretty much used in all cars that you can race on the roadside. Everybody goes here, and everybody knows how to race this track.
Brands Hatch is absolutely one of the most popular tracks in the world. A very famous layout. A very unique layout, I must say. That first turn, so difficult to get right. A drop-off right-hander, so difficult. Very light on the brakes, but not too light because you have that miles of runoff in turn one. And don't forget the corner right after it. Going up the hill, that tight hairpin. It's got that little small double left-hander section after that. And then probably my favorite part of this circuit, the run through the forest.
There's a lot of deceptively fast corners on this track where you need to slow down, but you can keep that power down. And whoever is going to be running those fast laps is going to be the one that is brave enough to get that power down early and stay on the power to get those fast lap times. And right now, Alex Alcaraz has done that with a 1:15.45.
Yeah, Alex Alcaraz getting up there, currently on provisional pole. Gianfranco Pagotto, he is right beside him, as well as Raul J. Hyman. Those top three guys all within 0.07 of a second to Alex Alcaraz.
Then it kind of falls off from Matt Laupser back over 0.4 from Alex Alcaraz. We'll see if anybody can jump into that top three bubble that we're seeing right now. So we're taking a look at Stratus Kurlikitsis, back to Gianfranco Pagotto as he puts down another lap. That last lap was a 1:16.28. We'll see if he can improve on his 1:15.51.
Well, timer strikes 0 now here in qualifying, as we're going to see drivers finish out their laps. Currently looking at Stiletto right here. He's currently in 43rd place, 1.8 seconds behind, and they might be 1.8 seconds behind the leader, but these guys are still incredibly fast.
You can go all the way down pretty much through the top 20. They're all within 1 second, and going back from there, they're all even closer to each other down through the order. Everybody kind of on the same wavelength, the same speed right now is in the grass. That's Gianfranco Pagotto. He's not going to improve that time.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of that throughout this race. It's very easy to go off track here. Once you go off track, all the turns just kind of go away from where the grass is. So once you go off track, you're going to be sailing away, be fighting for control of that car. So watch out for cars going a little bit wide here and might have a little bit of an issue where they're going to be located. And track rejoining. So the start of this race might get a little bit hairy.
Only waiting on, I believe, one more car to finish up before we end up qualifying, and that is Caitlin Height, and they're going to go into the grass. And if they did get an off track there, that's going to spell the end of their lap. This will not count. But we also have Rob McGuire on the track, it looks like, for a final lap.
We saw Rod actually finish this lap, and we were just waiting on Caitlin to go into the pit lane. And I believe the session is going to kick everybody out right now. And your starting grid, 58 cars lined up and ready to go here at beautiful Brands Hatch. Here's the grid. Alex Alcaraz starts up on pole, followed by Gianfranco Pagotto, Raul J. Hyman, Matt Laupser, Vitolo Garcia, Philip Lucas, Stratos Kurlikitsis, Zoltan Zamoter, Samuel Hermer, Luca Ferrari, Mark Alcaraz, Alexander Wren, Richard Wetstead, Stuart Millen, Klaus Gruger, Clark Williams, Lorenzo, Adam Talsma in 18th. They're followed by Lucas Lackner, Christian Berg, Caitlin Height, Andy Flint, Dave Martin, Chris Moretta, Ben White, Rod McGuire, Zachary Beeson, Russell Kirkwood, Luca Maruk, Nick Cartley, Dirk Provley, Will McIntyre, Richard Veen, Christian Glamsetter, Chris Todd, Chuck Morrow, Steve Rubens, Johnny Coco in 38th, followed by Antonio Brzezinski, Marco Zelinka, Richard Ballberg, James Luis, Giovanni Saletto, Joan Bergeson, Phil Waller, Gregory Mimser, Alex Hopkins, and Martin Devine in 48th. Reed Dennis, Patrick Rollins, Robert Griffin, Ross Gooday, Sammy E. Venabalis, Robert Dutton, Mark Mathias, Clemens Punzengruber, Jay Bouget, and at the end of the grid, Samuel Pankari. As 58 cars all lined up and getting ready to go here at Brands Hatch.
Waiting on the last couple of cars to make their way to the grid, and then we'll see those lights come on and go out just as quickly as they came on. 58 cars lined up. You can see them all snaking up through this uphill section before the start-finish line as we get ready to send them off. There's the 2-minute clock for gridding up. There come the lights. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go racing from Brands Hatch. Everybody gets away well. The inside line going to prove best for Alex Alcaraz. He's going to take the early lead through turn 1. Gianfranco Pagotto takes second from Hyman, Laubser, and Garcia as they go through the hairpin for the first time.
Big lockup from Alex Alcaraz heading into the hairpin as they're going to go 2 by 2 through the hairpin right now. Very organized through here as soon as I say that, we got a car off. Big incident.
One car without a wing in the back there. Not sure who that is.
Oh my
but
goodness.
More cars off track here in the back after turn 2.
We got a Formula 4 right there. Russell Kirkwood. He was the first one involved, and I think he was kind of the catalyst of all that stuff. I saw a car go wide. I think that was Kirkwood. And then he just came back slightly, and then other cars tried to avoid other cars, and one of them just might have got into him as we watched the fight at front. Alex Alcaraz, Pagotto, Hyman, Laubser, Garcia, Lucas, your top 5.
Pagotto now trying to chase down Alcaraz as he takes over second place after that first lap. Was not able to make that switchback that we saw him try off the start. Was not able to make that work going down to turn 2, so he now goes back to turn number 1, back where he started in second, and a 122 flat from Alcaraz first time by. He has the fastest lap.
This is a tasty battle for 12th right there. Mark Alcaraz. We got cars in the middle of the track. Massive 3-car pileup.
That was a 14 up in the air.
That was Lagner. And there is nothing wrong about that. Just a driver error got into the grass, and that is what I said as, ooh, Hyman got a little bit loose. As Garcia and Laubser battling with each other. Here's a replay of what happened right here. Mark Alcaraz.
Wednesday got into the grass.
Oh, Alcaraz got sent up and hard into the wall. That's Philip Lucas as well. Like Lagner was the other car in there. I know Lucas and Lagner have extremely similar paint schemes.
Back on the lap number 3 now. Alcaraz sets another fastest lap up at the front, so he's setting that pace. We've seen it before. It looks like we're seeing it again, where he takes the early lead and just starts running away with this. Pagotto just can't keep up. Side by side now, going through turn number 2. That's Kurlikitsis and Laubser. Laubser behind, looking for a way to get by Kurlikitsis at 375. Not going to make anything happen. Go back through this middle sector 2 and into the forest. Long train of cars as they continue to race here. Back uphill. Very short lap compared to the other road courses that we've seen so far this season here on iGPFun. Only about a minute 15, the fastest laps that we are expecting to see.
Yeah, only 2.5 miles is the track length, and well, even if it is 2.5 miles, it still kind of feels a little bit longer, and very, very tricky to get this track right, but very fast.
And complete another lap. So everybody's settling out, building those gaps between each other. Hyman sets the fastest lap, a 1:16.748. As Alcaraz just running a slight bit slower than Pagodo, but not able to close that gap as Gianfranco. There's the 2:22 of Luca Varani battling with Samuel Hermer.
Hermer just had a big off track right there, lost multiple positions coming out of that hairpin. Still, even after the start of this race, we still get big incidents out there, and that's going to be probably the biggest part of this race, just the exits of these corners. Let's watch the number one of Samuel Hermer as he goes to this open part of the track. Big off track, and there's a reason why that massive runoff's there. Because if that wasn't there, if that was just concrete like it usually would be, cars would be able to A, control it, but it would just make for extremely dangerous rejoins.
And look at the 56 just right on the back bumper, or the back wing, I should say, of the 47. That's probably a McGuire. McGuire had to check up there. Now you can see that gap just starting to spread back out once again.
Yeah, Rod McGuire up 5 spots from where he started. If we go look at Stuart Millen, he's up 3 spots, stays in 11th place. We got a fight for second between Raul Hyman and Pagodo.
Hyman just set another fastest lap, the 1:16.40. Hyman has the speed, and that 38 car is coming for second place on Pagodo. Pagodo keeping that same gap between him and Alcaraz up front, but not able to close in forward, which means here comes Raul Hyman trying to close in behind.
Hyman getting on that gearbox, already a lap car. That's a 33 at the very bottom of the track, just kept out of the way. This part of the track, very light on the brakes, just a little bit of a flick, and you're into the next turn. Very blind apexes too, so I remember in the skippies whenever I raced here, this is probably the sketchiest part of the racetrack. But these cars, a lot more power and a lot more downforce than a skippy.
They'll complete the first 5 laps this time by as they dip into the start-finish line, then go back uphill, and you can see that quick downhill and such a sharp decline from the front straightaway through turn 1 and into turn 2.
Alex Alcaraz sets the fastest lap that time by 16.27. That top 3 absolutely locked on with each other. The draft is so powerful here, but it's not a lot of rooms to actually make an overtake.
On board with Hermer here on a replay.
Did he go off
Ooh,
again?
off track.
Same spot, same place. Not as big this time, but it is so critical to get used to it. And oh, Hyman decided a little bit of an off track right there.
And now Hyman trying to chase back down Pagodo up in front. Lap time comparison between Alcaraz and Pagodo, and you can see him consistently
Very
lapping
even.
faster. He's lapping faster, but not by much.
Yeah, it's by a very minuscule amount. It's out. Pagodo just needs a few good laps, and he's right there with them. 0.04 of a second. They basically just did this exact same time. Alex Alcaraz, though, going just a little bit faster, putting in the fast lap of the race, as Hyman is on the bumper of Pagodo, and these top 3 are pulling away from Garcia behind.
These top 3 locked in a battle, and that's great to see because usually in this series, we see one car kind of run away at the front and everybody battling through the midfield. We might have a solid battle for the lead or a battle for second consistently throughout this race. As your 58 looks like he might be having an issue on the inside. He's getting passed by a lot of cars right now. That's
Yeah,
Alex Hopkins.
Might have got a slowdown penalty at some point because he just dropped to the back of this group it was either a slowdown penalty or he just didn't feel comfortable racing beside these guys. I know some of these guys feel like Brands Hatch is kind of a house for disaster, but I will not be surprised if he did get corner cuts here, because to go fast around here, you have to cut the corner a little bit and got to play track limits to the game at this track, because everybody goes off track here. They have to cut a few of these corners. Speaking of cutting these corners, watch for Ruzeski take this corner. Right onto the curb, right out to the other curb. Next corner, Cars Apex, cut it through, and then go onto that runoff area. Almost try to avoid that outside sand trap and cut across that curb. Go a little bit wide, avoid that bump off the exit. His banked left-hand turn, and he's got a great run right here onto the right side of Gregory Meismer. They're going to go side by side. The pink cat, and he's swinging around the outside right here. Ruzewski makes the move for 39th, but here comes Gregory on the rebound. Gregory and Ruzewski side by side heading into turn 1. Who's going to be the last late breakers? Antonio Ruzewski is going to hold it in for 39th.
Now he has Ross Goodeker up the road to try and catch him. McGuire now getting pressure from Lorenzo behind. This is for 19th. Sorry, for 20th.
Luciano Lorenzo in that 0039. Just staying within reaching distance of Rod McGuire as we ride on board of Rod, looking away from his gearbox. And, well, Luciano just hunting him down, kind of steadying his lines just a little bit, seeing what he could do a little bit better, or where he could catch him off guard.
On board Lorenzo, he goes for a top 20. Trying to chase down Rod McGuire. He's in that bubble of dirty air right now that he can't really close in much, except on these straightaways. Going to the corners, he needs to lift a lot more than he normally would have to.
Oh yeah, we never said about Lorenzo and his very detailed spot on the car. We took a little bit of a zoomed in photo a few weeks ago. We actually really never said anything about it in the next broadcast, and I feel like a few of these watchers of the series kind of want to know what's on Lorenzo's car. It's a tortoise with a rocket strapped to its back. That's on its side pod. So what I said, what was a leprechaun or something? No, it's a tortoise with a rocket on its back. Marco, what did you say it was? Yeah. I know, like, you thought it was, like, blue or something. If you want to find out what Marco said, go watch the Coda broadcast. Luca Verani in this four-way fight for 7th. Everyone following Matt Labser, Zoltan Zomotor right ahead of him, and Samuel Hermer at the back of this little grouping of cars. And oh no! Lorenzo's out!
The commentator's curse strikes again.
I didn't say anything positive though. How's that a curse?
That's your Austin.
Dang it! And oh! That is Richard around and oh no. Oh. Richard Van Veen. He was a few laps down, got a little bit loose off the exit. This is what happened to him. He's following the 51 and he just gets into the grass and oh, he makes contact with the 51 and oh. Lorenzo nowhere to go right now. Oh,
His top three is still so close together.
Yeah. Alcaraz is managing to pull out a little bit of a gap. They're spreading out just slightly more, but they're all keeping within a second of each other. So they're still together, but it's a little bit more spread out than the start of this race. It's probably a good idea because if you stay close together throughout most of the race, that's going to burn all your tires up, and it's going to lead to incidents. I don't know if you experienced the red mist of just staying behind somebody that you're on the gearbox for an entire day.
And another fastest lap from Alcaraz. Pagodo 2/10 behind.
Yeah, Gianfranco Pagodo and Hyman, they're starting to hit that wall because they've been dealing with that dirty air for most of the time. The tires might be going away.
A lot of drivers using that runoff area past that rumble strip. Same thing with that runoff area.
You kind of have to. That runoff area is, it's colored like grass, but it's actually because is it brick on the outside of it? It's a very weird surface, but it's not counted as an off-track in iRacing. It's extremely wide, and it's Hermer. That's not one of those paved off-track spots. If anyone knows what that off-track part is in that corner, let us know. My bet is bricks, like bricks with grass in it. And that's what I always thought it was, but I've never actually looked into it.
On board with Zoltan Zomer as he tries to pull away from Luca Varani behind him. Look at that up the road from Luca Varani, and they're going to pass a lap car, and that's going to allow him to close up to the 747 of Zoltan Zomer. Maybe he can try and make a pass through the sector 2 and through the forest section. Oh, and he will get the pass because there goes Zoltan Zomer around into the grass.
That is extremely unfortunate. Coming out of the famous Graham Hill bend, Zomotor goes around. So we go back to the battle for 22nd. Dirk Provley and Chuck Morrow heading through Graham Hill bend right now. And here comes Chuck Morrow, going to try to send it down the inside. He sends it through the corner. Does he have the hit on the exit? Yes, he does. Chuck Morrow up in a 22nd. Now we got a two-way fight for 23rd between Provley and Height. Caitlin Height is buried in the gearbox of Chuck, trying to hold down that inside line. Dirk Provley trying to hold it around the outside. Caitlin Height sneaks it down low. They're still going to go side by side, heading through Westfield, and Caitlin Height jumps up into 23rd. What a wonderful move. Saw the opportunity, and she went for it, and she's got it.
Probably going to drop down the order now to 24th, but Height with a wonderful pass. Now we're going to try and chase down Chuck Morrow as we move up to the battle for 16th. White Williams in this one. Seen Clark Williams in the past couple of weeks have some good drives. He's in 17th right now. Trying to get past Ben White. Zachary Beeson is also in this battle. Rubens Maruk a little bit outside of that. And Rubens and Cardi are going side by side, or wing to wing, I should say, through the middle sector. And a couple car lengths separating those two. Back into the front with Hyman. A couple cars in the road. Those are 4 damaged cars. Here's a replay. It looks like Hyman passing the lapped car. And it looks like he just got off track.
Ooh. Big off track right there.
Didn't seem to hurt him that much as he still keeps that 3rd place spot. Venables in a battle with Divine.
still fighting throughout there. Semi Evenabales in 31st as they're trying to catch up to Giofonte Seletto. And as they're coming out through this track, I want to say Brands Hatch was up for a major redesign idea up in 2012, cornering around Graham Hill Bend. Its current function, it's a very quick left-hander, but in 2012, plans were improved to make Graham Hill Bend a massive braking zone. And it was going to have a little bit of a hairpin and then a flick 90-degree right turn to make it a kind of more overtaking spot. The plans were approved, and it would be right here for that instance, and I do believe somebody made it on a simulator, but after looking at the cost measures, because they would have to cut into that hill just a little bit, the drivers just didn't like it after a bunch of testing, so they decided to keep it like the way it is. But it does make you scratch your head. It's like, how would that make the racing here a lot better, and how would that affect the racing at Brands Hatch?
This track is also just so classic. It is known, like I mentioned earlier in the pre-show, pretty much from Class D road all the way up to A class, and even like GT3 you race at Brands Hatch pretty much every season. And in every car you're going to race on the roadside of iRacing, you're going to race at least once at Brands Hatch. So it's just known by almost everybody as just this classic racetrack that everybody knows how to get around in every vehicle.
Yeah, it honestly is. I'm surprised it's not a free track at this point, because so many series go here, and it's so classic. And this track is just so famous. The Indy circuit, when IndyCar came here, is one of my favorite races to go watch on just YouTube's. Also, Graham Hill Bend, known for clogging up and not have the best drainage. And it does have a big pond sometimes forming in there.
Kulikitsis, you're on board with him right now as he chases down Philip Lucas. Lap car on the inside, no issue. High speed corner through the forest, not using up too much of the rumble strip on the outside. Using up the track limits there, coming out of that high speed, 90-degree left-hander, or right-hander.
Oof, there's a car off right there.
Off.
There's the iGPFun car, the 141.
Will McIntyre.
Oof, Will. Well, he's kept it out there, and well, yeah, he's kept it out there, kept it clear of everyone else, had that F3 black box on, looking at his relative, making sure that nobody, he doesn't come back on track in front of anyone else.
Vitolo Garcia still back. He still has Philip Lucas so close behind him as they use up those track limits. Kulikitsis is there. Laubser is there. These cars are so close together, battling. Oh, one car off track. Is that the 34? The 73 is also off track. I think that was Zachary Beeson. Antonio Ruzewski
it's
off
Ruzewski.
track.
Ruzewski is off. He's got a lot of damage on that front wing. And that pink cat is definitely not purring right now.
Who's the other car that was wrecked there? Right there. Reed Dennis.
Reed's Dennis car is absolutely destroyed. There's Ruzewski right behind him. Dennis. Oh
my.
Looks like Ruzewski got a great exit. Dennis didn't get the best, and it's just the meeting of the two cars that unfortunately made it happen.
Here's another replay. This looks like just out of room.
Oh.
Not enough room to stop.
Incredibly unfortunate.
Back up to the top of the field. Alex Alcaraz still leads. Pagodo second. Hyman third. Here's the battle between Guger and Talsma. Talsma running in 13th, trying to get 12th away from Klaus Guger.
As Klaus Gruber and Adam Talsma battle it out for 12th place as they race down here, heading into the forest. A lovely straight that a lot of people on, I know a lot of people in the F1 community would like to see a F1 race come here. And I've seen a few track redesigns that say that that straight heading into the forest will be a location of a new pit building if Brands Hatch ever gets redesigned. And I must say, don't ever redesign Brands Hatch. Just thinking about it is just brings a sour taste in my mouth. But I know a lot of people want to see the future of the British GP carry on, and Brands Hatch seems like the most suitable place for it if Silverstone doesn't stay on the F1 calendar. As Sammy Venabalis goes down and up on Divine.
Steve Rubens in a battle with Nick Carty. They come down the front straight away. There's the injured 73 of Ruzevsky. They're going to pass him as he just continues to limp around. I believe that damaged front wing still on that car. Oh, he did use that fast repair, so he is a lap down. He's going to let everybody go by. Great sportsmanship from Ruzevsky as Griffith and Meismer fight for 35th.
Ooh. Car off. Wide. White trying to go into the pit lane and, well, that's one way to box, but, I'm pretty sure it's not the most efficient way. Big slide and just gets a tank slapper literally from the Brands Hatch logo tire safety barrier. Went for a flip, and that's going to end out his race. Going to get a fast repair, but it's going to be the positive fast repair and probably the shortest tow of your life.
Another lap time comparison. Another lap time comparison between Alcaraz and Pagodo. You see only one lap was Pagodo faster, and that was on lap 20. Alcaraz continuing to set fast times and consistent lap times as well. He hasn't dropped out of the 116s yet.
He is so consistent with his times. Alex Alcaraz has a lot of experience here on this track, and he's definitely gelled well with it. Pagodo still staying within the realms. 3/10 here, 1,000th of a second, 10th here, 1,000th of a second. It's kind of like a dance of a pattern. And that's to the gap of Hyman right behind him. And Hyman, drifting through Sheen Curve as they head into Sterling's. Through Clark and onto Brabham Straight. It's not really much of a straight since the entire straight, air quotes, is curved up a small hill and heading into Paddock Hill Bend. Down the hill they go, heading to Hellwoods Hill and into Druids. And Druids is we're going to see a lot of incidents, a lot of smoke. Car off right there Now let's take a look at Luca Ferrari. Ferrari's off in the paddock hill bend.
Great recovery, though. It did not lose that car. Kept it in control the whole time. He'll keep 7th place, and he's still fairly close to Samuel Herbert to make a move. Varani right in the middle of a lot of cars right now. He has Lobster up the road about 4/10, and then he has Curly Kitsis and Lucas up there. They're all fairly close together. They can get a little speed. They might be able to get a little more bunched up as well.
Just want to say, as we approach the end of this race, the iGPFun-F3 League is brought to you by North World Sim. North World Sim Simulator Parts and Innovative Solutions is your sim racing house for cockpits, pedals, steering wheels, parts, etc. All you need, here you have it at North World Sim. Proud partner of iGPFun.
Alcaraz still leads ahead of Pagodo, Hyman, Lucas, and Kurlikipsis. You can see just how harsh that gap is. These top 3 are together by about 2 seconds, but look at the gap between Hyman and Lucas. Almost 10 seconds between those two. Talsma battling Guger. He has Zoltan Zometer behind him. He's focusing right up the road, trying to take over 12th place. Gonna need to catch about 7 seconds up the road if he's gonna want a top 10 chance. He would need to pass Stuart Millen, who currently holds that 10th place, but right now he's focusing on getting the 12th spot from Klaus Guger up the road to 72. The race back downhill. Can Talsma get close enough to make a move? They come back onto the front straightaway. 11 laps remaining. He's looking like he's closing a little bit, using that draft, coming down the front straightaway, down into turn number 1. Not close enough. Not going to be close enough heading into turn 2 either. They got on the brakes a little bit earlier than Guger did in front of him, so Talsma going to stay behind. Gap shrinking ever so slightly from 4/10 down to 3/10.
Klaus Guger, head of Adam Talsma as they're heading into Pilgrims, dropping up into Hawthorns. A lot of names were even to small parts of the track. So many parts of the track that have like their own section named as Paddock Hill Bend, and then immediately after Paddock Hill Bend is heading up to Haywood's Hill, then heading into Druids, and after that Graham Hill's Bend, Cooper Straight, Sutrees, Pilgrims Drop, Hawthorne Hill, Hawthorne, to Minter Straight, Westfield, Dingle Dell, best name of a corner ever, Sheedy Curve, Sterling's, Clearways, Clark Curve, and Bradford Straight. There are more names than corners on this track.
Wow, look at that lap time last time by in the last couple of laps from Pagodo. He has been closing the gap on Alcaraz. The gap down to 7/10 of a second. We might see a battle for the lead brewing here.
Lapped cars are playing a massive part of this race. Alex Alcaraz coming up to some lap traffic, and they're slowing him down. This is allowing Pagodo to get closer and closer. We got a 3-way car right here. We got a car down at the inside as we head into Sterling's, and Alcaraz always caught right up with him. And here's Pagodo. It's a big giant gaggle of cars as Hyman just gets sandwiched off by them, and he's on the highway, and he makes contact with one of them. And the fight for the lead is back right here as it's Alcaraz, Pagodo, nose-tail with each other here at Brands Hatch for the iGPFun-F3 League. with only about 8 laps to go. Nope, nope, nope. 9 laps to go. But Hyman, these lap cars bit him in the butt right there, and he's dropped all away from that fight for the lead. The fight for first staying very, very strong. Pagoto and Alcaraz racing it out at front.
Gap down to 6/10.
Goes in on half a second. Pagoda's going to get a good run come through Sterling's right here. We're coming up to another pack of lapped cars that are currently at the straight. And Pagoda, I think he's just trying to stay with Alcaraz right now. Alcaraz has clean air. Pagoda is just staying in that draft, getting affected by the dirty air. But this lapped car battle, we got a big three-way fight right here between Beeson, Birch, and Williams. Beeson around the outside, gets it a little bit loose on the exit of Westfield, but Beeson makes that move for 15th.
There's a lot of cars now as the tires continue to wear. Lap cars start to affect them. They're kind of bunching back up like they were at the beginning of the race. We're going to see some late race battles here as we have 8 laps to go. Side by side going through one. That's Williams.
Ooh, Clark Williams sending it into Druids.
Breach on the inside.
Can he do it? Is
yes.
Not going to be. Oh. It's not going to be the move for Clark Williams. Zachary Beeson holds it off through Graham Hill Bend, but what a move heading into Druids.
Maruk on the tail end of this fight. Looking to catch up to Christian Breach ahead of him. While Jay Hyman just set the fastest lap.
15.785 for Raul J. Hyman. Trying to close in on Gianfranco Pagotto and Alex Alcaraz. And they're catching up to that lap traffic. Philip Lucas in 4th. He's being chased down by Charles Coelho, Matt Laubser, and Luca Ferrari in this 4-way fight for 4.
These guys are such a long ways down the road. 13.5 seconds to Raul Hyman. Oh, off track. That's Kurlikitsis.
Just a wheel, but that will affect his speed coming out there. Matt Laubster, oh, he's hunted for a move heading into Hawthorne's, but it's not going to be there. But if he continues going on, he can close in and make that move stick. They go way off on that runoff right there. Luca Ferrari looking for the hunt as they're closing in on 5 laps to go.
Luca Ferrari in the draft of Matt Laubser. Can he close the gap? He let off very early going into 1. I'm wondering if Luca Ferrari's tires are starting to feel those lost grip effects.
I believe a lot of people are feeling a lot of the grip effects just falling off right now. They've been abusing him. The corners here are so fast that the tires are definitely at their limits. The iGPFun-F3 League goes a lot longer than the official F3 races here on iRacing. They do race on the same schedule, same tracks, but that is definitely going to be playing a factor. Very late look down the inside from Luca Ferrari heading into Hawthorne's. But we're definitely seeing the tires get a little bit more worn than usual here on iRacing. Alex Alcaraz still trying to get through this packed cars field. Is still trying to pull away from Gianfranco Pagotto. He's doing very nicely, pulling another 10th out of the hat right now.
Pagotto just looking to try and close down as we go back now to battles. Zomer, Talsma, Guger. They're all so close together. Look at this. Talsma to the inside.
Talsma had a great run through Sterling's, but it was just held up a little bit as they head into Clark Curve. Almost made contact with Zomotor. Adam Talsma was right beside him and sneaking his way down low. That's Klaus Gruger. Gruger is going to try to send it to Paddock Hill Bend, but he actually just decides not to send it and just stay back there and let these two fight it out in front of him. Zachary Beeson and Clark Williams still having their fight for 15th. And ooh, that's Caitlin Heitzoff. And oh, I thought Caitlin was going to go through McLaren, but very wide and almost like the Indy course right there. But no, missed braking point, comes back out on track.
Pagotto just lapped faster than Alcaraz again, and Hyman lapped faster than both of them.
The lap traffic definitely proving a factor right there. That time by Hyman definitely closing in on Pagotto and Alcaraz, and we're closing in on the laps down here at Brands Hatch. Can Pagotto catch up to Alcaraz? Will the laps cars provide some more wiggle room? And can Hyman catch up to the top three? We got a car spun around. That's Luca Ferrani's in a massive hit.
Very unfortunate for the 222.
Heading into Druids. Oh, it's Ruzetsky on the outside. And oh! Just gets a 1-2 hit right there. But thankfully the iRacing damage gods decided that shouldn't be a loss of the wheel. Let's right on board Samuel Hermer heading into Druids. Looks down low, decides he's going to keep that low line, and then there's Ruzetsky, gets a little bit of wiggle off the exit. And well, they make contact, and Hermer's now picked up some damage on the front right of his wing. And oh my crabbiness. I don't know if you saw, don't know if you see Luca Ferrari's car, but that is a reverse Tokyo drift. Negative drifto right there. It actually looks somewhat in place with the F1 Turkish Grand Prix this morning. With how much that car's back end is just wiggling around. And oh, that's going to be, he's not going to be able to finish this lap because Alex Alcaraz and Gianfranco Pagotto are closing in on him. This might be very close depending on where Verardi is compared to Alcaraz and Pagotto.
Oh no, Pagotto got stuck on the outside of those lap cars. He just lost so much time. He's still stuck there.
That Italian rage definitely going to be coming out right now. And probably glad that we do not have the voice chat open because we all know what would be said. And by we, I mean Marco.
Marco would be the only one to understand it. And there goes Ronnie in the pits.
Well, Ronnie managing to get that thing just slide into the pit lane. Don't use that fast pair, but he's dropped down all the way to 20th place. So unfortunate for Luca Verardi. Stuart Millen sits in ninth, trying to hold off Dave Martin right behind him.
Ronnie, quick fast repair, right back out onto the track. 2 laps to go.
2 laps left. Philip Lucas leading out Stratoscope Gutsis, pulling out a small gap. 16 seconds to Jaime Pagotto and Alcaraz ahead of him.
Whoa! One car around.
Big hit into the wall, and that's the end of Stratos' race. He's got his 4 wheels back, but he's going to be dealing with a lot of damage. No rear wing on that car. Hermer trying to hold around the outside, but Vitolo Garcia swings it down low through Surtees. He doesn't have that wing damage. He has a downforce advantage over Garcia, but Garcia's wing not really affecting him that much. It is a bit of minor damage, but Vitolo up to 6.
Alcaraz back on the front straightaway. He'll take the white flag This is Pagodo's last chance. He made up a couple of 10s on that last lap because he got held up by a couple lapped cars, and he just ran his personal best of the race, a 1:15.91. Will Pagodo be able to close in?
He could definitely close in, and here's Stratoscope Glitz is trying to make this corner. It just slows down a lot, and I think he's noticed that it's pointless to try to keep on going. Toasting into the pit lane, Alex Alcaraz, Pagodo racing into Hawthorne's Hill. 7/10 separates them.
What is going to happen when they come through these final corners? Will Pagodo have anything to challenge?
It's going to be so far away for Pagodo to even try to close in on Alex Alcaraz. He's been so perfect today. One corner to go. That's Clark Curve. And I don't think we're going to be seeing any change through here unless something drastic happens. Nothing drastic happens as Alex Alcaraz takes the victory here at Brands Hatch for the iGPFun-F3 League, followed by Pagodo and Hyman. Very great battle up front.
Millen, Dave Martin battling as they come through the final sector.
Dave's close enough to try to send something into Clark Curve, but with the downforce in these cars, it's just too little, too late. Very little braking heading into there, and Stuart Millen going to be leading out Dave Martin for 8th place. Side by side, oh no, not a side by side fight. That's 2 lap cars, as you know, pace lap, in lap. Thank you, Marco. I thought I was looking at watching something in slow motion right there. You're tricking my head, Marco. Jeez.
Coming across the line, Chuck Morrow.
18th. As everyone's going to try to go in on this pace lap. And a very on their in lap. A very fun thing to see is cars trying to take the Indy route and just go right at McLaren and into the pit lane. And those you will get black flag for that, so our official results might see someone getting tried for that and get disqualified. But speaking of our results, here they are. Alex Alcaraz takes away, followed by Gianfranco Pagodo, Raul J, Jaime Phillip, Lucas, Matt Laubser, Vitolo Garcia, Samuel Hermer, Stuart Millen, Dave Martin, Zoltan Zoboter, Adam Talisman, Klaus Kruger, Zachary Beeson, Christian Burke, Lucas Maruk, Clark Williams, Rickard Bogberg, and Chuck Maru in 18th. They're followed by Rob McGuire, Steve Rubin, Sammy Venabales, Luca Ferrani, Dirk Provley, Mark Mathias, Giovanni Seletto, Ben White, Martin Devine, Caitlin Height in 28th. And they're followed by Alex Hopkins, Stratus Goods, Johnny Coco, Ross Goodace, Antonio Brzezinski, Marco Zelenika, Robert Griffin, Will McIntyre, Patrick Rollins, Reed Dennis in 38th. They're followed by Nick Carty, Johan Bergeson, Richard Wetzek, Gregory Meisberg, Chris Tott, Phil Waller, James Luis, Lucas Lackner, Christian Glamsetter, Jay Bush, Luciano Lorenzo, Richard Veen, Russell Kirkwood, Alexander Wren, Mark Alcaraz, Andy Flint, Chris Moretta, Robert Dutton, Clement Punzengruber, and Samuel Pankry, who I don't believe took the start of the race.
He did not take the start of the race.
Well, Josh, how was that race here at Brands Hatch? The IGP Fun always providing a great show, and this is probably the closest fight we had for the lead in a while.
It was, and it was a battle pretty much from the drop of the green flag to the checkered flag. I mean, they kind of just kept that gap the entire race, and it only really went as far as maybe 2 seconds, and Pagodo was able to catch it back up. So an intense battle for the lead for all 35 laps. This was one of the best races of the season, in my personal opinion. It looks like we have an interview with Luca Verani, Austin.
Yes, we are. We're standing by with the 222 Luca Ferrari. Luca, how was that race? How did these guys do today?
Hi guys. I don't know. It seemed clean enough ahead of me. Not happy about my race instead.
Yeah, you unfortunately had that incident in Druid's corner. But how was the challenge of Brands Hatch compared to the rest of the tracks? Because Brands Hatch kind of stuck out there as a weird one.
I actually like this track a lot. I'm usually faster around here. In fact, I was forced in free practice, but then I didn't find a good lap. I didn't find a clean lap in qualify. Ended up 10. That's not a good strategy. If I can recommend something, go for 10 in practice and first in qualify. It's much better. And then in the race, my car was a little faster than the guys ahead, just a little bit, especially towards the ends. I think that my tires were faring better. But once you get close to another car in these fast corners, you just get understeer, and it's really, really difficult to make a pass stick or even to stay close.
Yeah, the dirty air was a big effect here. Next week, you're heading to Interlagos. How you feeling about these guys around there? A wider track for sure, and a lot more opportunities to make some moves.
Races are always exciting in Interlagos. I highly recommend people watch the race. You can go with low wings, you can go with relatively high wings. Usually there is a good mix on the track and interesting strategies. If you're fast on the straight, of course you can pass on the start-finish straight before the Senna S. Other than that, if you have wings, you have to try to invent something in the slow section, and usually that involves throwing fakes, trying to get deep into a corner to force the other driver into a mistake, and then go under him on exit. Usually it's a good race.
It usually brings a great race, and I'm very excited to see next week. Well, Luca, thank you for joining with us. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Always the same. You guys for the broadcast. We always enjoy them. We actually meet just after the race at around midnight Europe time to watch your broadcasts, and always enjoyable. So thank you for doing that. Thank you all the drivers for making this series so exciting and friendly. Everybody's always willing to help. And of course, thanks to our sponsor Northworld Sim Racing. And thanks again for watching.
Well, thank you, Luca Verani. You go have yourself a good rest and enjoy the watch party after the race later tonight. We're going to throw it over to Joshua, who's going to have some closing words.
Thank you all for tuning in to Apex Racing TV here for the iGPFun-F3 series. Make sure you join us next weekend, same time, right here on a beautiful Sunday evening over in Europe. And we'll see you then. For Marco Barbanero, Austin Knight, I am Joshua Lee saying goodbye from Brands Hatch.